So I'm Jeff Lieberman, the director, writer of Squirm, Blue Sunshine, etc., etc. And I'm here, sitting here, trying to figure out, with inflation, how much was it to rent a video back in the day? And it comes out to $7.39 of today's, if you bring it back that day. If you don't bring it back that day, the late fee is $5.45. Right? Grand total is close to $15. So where the hell did they get off to call this show $2 late fee? That's not with inflation. With inflation, you should call the show the $7.39 late fee. Okay? That's number one. Number two, podcasting after dark is just another of the 10 billion podcasts that are out there. They couldn't think of a title. They said, oh, we're doing it at night. I got an idea. And that's birthed this incredible, everybody's talking about me and me. You you guys talk about it. You will if you just tune in and see it. Okay?
Mr. Jeff Lieberman, it's an honor and pleasure to have you on $2 late fee and podcasting after dark. Whether you like it or not, we're celebrating you all month long, talking about your movies and all that good stuff.
What?
Yeah, sorry. Shocker.
Man, you guys ran out of material. You must have been on a long time. Yeah, I can't get used to this stuff when I made these movies. The only thing I'm known for is the genre movies.
Yeah.
As if I did, on all the other time I was, I don't know, playing golf or something. But most of the stuff that I've done in my career was other than that. But it doesn't, I was going to say fame. I'm not famous. It's like showbiz doesn't work that way. If you're known for something, it doesn't matter what else. Did you know I won an Emmy Award?
Yeah,
No.
of course.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, but you only because yeah. But,
I read your book.
If you stopped, oh, great, cool. I can sign it for you right now with auto pen. Where's Joe Biden?
He's hanging out. He's doing push-ups in the backyard.
And yeah, so once I came to be at peace, try not to use cliche, but like, okay, that's the deal. You did all this other stuff that you saw in the book, a lot of stuff. Who gives a shit? And so, like, even if you watch the Sonny Liston documentary,
right,
you're looking for who directed it. No, I'm not. And I directed it. So, Squirm and these things have a certain fame to them. And then I really got hip to this when you make a movie, the last thing you're thinking of is next month,
right.
Next year, like this movie over and out next year. You're thinking of them, what are you going to do next?
Right.
The idea that it's almost 50 years. 50 years for Squirm.
Squirm, yep, next year, yep.
And I just got back from Italy. They showed Squirm in Parma, Italy, home of the Parmesan cheese.
Hey.
You know how long it took me to stop asking people to say cheese? I just, like when I'm in Paris, I say over and over again, I look down at the river. I say, those people are insane. Not once, not twice. My wife says, okay, you're up to 20. How many more times are you going to say it? It bothers you, doesn't it? Another 20. You just have to, there's something wrong with me, but I have to say. So cheese, okay.
I think that's a guy thing. I think it's a guy thing, by the way, because women don't.
Really?
Yeah, women don't do that. I think men do that.
No, I drive my wife insane.
Women. There you go. Women are a higher intelligence. They know better.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
We're all married, so we can say that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you're going to play it back to your wife, of course.
Of course
I am. And there was 300 people that were not born, like not even an idea, back in 1975 when I shot the film. And they're there, and it was in the outdoors. It was not a drive-in, but it was like on the grounds of a famous Aristocrat. It was like from 1500s,
Oh, cool.
and the stone wall, and they had a great system. But the kicker was they had the movie looked great, but it was dubbed in Italian. And not only, I don't know if you know anything about the 70s and 80s when they used to dub films, the studio movies, you never got, they would send the like say in this case, MGM, Italy orders um, the movie. At that time it was AIP.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to send them what they call elements, the sound elements, the printing elements and all of that, and a dub track, or they manufacture a dub track and they subtract that from the thing, but they own that dub track.
Okay.
Those movies from that era and before, if you do a Blu-ray, a DVD, it started with VHS actually, but a DVD or a Blu-ray, you're not going to go and record another. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
So they go back to the labs, and these guys make a lot of money on that, and they sell them the track, the dub track. It's a difference between whether they're going to put the movie out in that territory or not. I'm watching this thing. Don Scardino was 22, and she was 22. The leads. They get somebody who sounds like what's the guy's name that doesn't drink Dos Equis or something? But
the world's jam.
Yeah, but when I do, he's like, wait, we must go to and in Italian.
Yeah.
In Italian. It's so like, here's the character talking, and here's this guy in front of badly mic'd. He's mic'd with no perspective. They didn't put perspective on it.
Oh no.
So it sounds like
Oh, no.
Mystery 2000,
Yeah.
where like that they're not in the movie and they're goofing on it. Only these people are doing the dialogue for the movie. I'm going like, how could you watch this? And I asked the guy that runs the thing, he says, this was his words, the normal people don't want to read subtitles.
Yeah.
The normal people. What he meant, I think the proletariat is like only snobby people that are cinema people want to read the subtitles. That was, and he doesn't care one way or the other, but he wants to sell tickets.
Right.
So it was just, and then I have the little guy on my show says, yeah, but at least they're fucking watching it 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
I always tend to think the other way. So, yeah, the same goes for the other movies.
And how did it play? How did Squirm play for the audience? 50 years later.
Most of them they already saw it. And if they didn't, I mean, it seemed to. See, I never go by how an audience reacts if I'm in the house. It doesn't just go for me. Here's the way, like a director, any director will tell you this. If your name comes up and the audience applauds, that's not an audience. It's not a real audience. Unless you're Stanley Kubrick, or, it's very rare that they're, applauding the name of maybe Steven Spielberg. But Jeff Lieberman, if they're applauding, that means they're fans.
Right.
When I was at the Tribeca Film Festival, I went, as soon as they applauded, because it was a lot of the people I knew, it played 2 times, Satan's Little Helper. So the first audience, I literally told friends, look, I did a new movie. You don't have to come. I didn't want to say, please don't come. I didn't want them to come.
Yeah.
Because they're not real. I'm
Right.
seeing the movie for the first time with an audience. They're not an audience. And I said, I'm only sending you this so you don't say afterwards you didn't tell me about it, but basically don't come. And they came anyway. And so half the audience was fake. As soon as my name, hey, bullshit. The second screening was civilians. Right? The civilians, they don't know me. And the other thing is, I made it a point that I'm not in the house during the movie.
Yeah.
So if they want to say something sucks, I want to know.
Yeah, you want it raw, right?
Yeah. And so it's a funny thing. When I did Squirm, that was the first anything I ever had in front of a real audience. On a Friday night, it was playing in 50 theaters in New York. And nobody knew. It was my first movie. So I had no fans, no nothing. And I got a bunch of friends We all got stoned, and we go on. And I said, we've got to see this in like Times Square, like 47th Street. And this is at the beginning of, you guys are used to multiplexes.
Yeah.
You know how it started? They took the big theaters like RKO and they put a wall right down the middle. So in other words, it sucked. Both theaters instantly sucked because you can actually hear. It wasn't designed for that. The man at sheetrock, you can hear the movie next door.
Right.
I mean, if they had like Roller Coaster or Earthquake, your chair would be moving and you're watching a Woody Allen movie. And it's like, that's with it. But it was 1,800 seat houses to begin with.
Wow.
RKO, they were used, the Paramount.
Yeah.
So even cutting them in half, you had like 900 seats and it was sold out. I go there, sitting down, the lights are still on, people are still coming in. They start projecting it on the fucking curtain.
Oh no!
The big velvet curtain. They don't give a shit to them. It's just another movie, right?
Right.
And I'm going like, I said, oh, and I started running up like I'm going to go to the projectionist. And I ran up there, and just as I got to the door to project, I said, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, it's playing in 50 theaters right now. Right. All over the metropolitan area. You're going to run around and make sure that everything, by the crawl at the beginning.
Yeah.
The crawl was over the thing. And when the crawl was over, when they dimmed the lights and then opened up the curtain to the movie. So they played the whole first part of the movie that was crucial to see the thing over a lit up room and the curtain.
Oh,
that was like, welcome to showbiz, kid.
Right. Here's your smack in the face.
Yeah.
And the other part of it was really cool. It was like maybe more than half black, the audience, because it's Times Square urban thing. They instantly rooted for Roger. They said, kill that white bitch, kill that that white motherfucker, that howdy doody red-haired motherfucker honky. And I'm going like, well, that's a different perspective than I didn't expect.
You're like, that's not what I intended, but okay.
Yeah. And it was really fresh to me because I go, well, I could see that. Like they see themselves the underdog and he's the white man.
Yeah.
And that's the stereotype. Racism is racism. You don't have to be white to be racist.
Right.
This is a blatantly racist thing from their point of view to say, well, he's white, so fuck him and kill him. And they want every scene, get him, eat that motherfucker. He just say, make him the worm face, make him the worm, all through the whole movie. And then they loved it. So
that's
go
hilarious.
figure, guys.
It was a violent summer storm. Millions of volts slashed the earth. There had been bad storms before, but this time there were changes.
Little mother bit me. I never saw him bite like that.
This was the night of the crawling terror. The Squirm. They came to feed on human flesh. You sweat, but you don't dare move. You want to scream, but you can't. Terror grips every nerve in your body. Your heart beats so fast, it feels like it's going to burst.
They're dead!
Squirm. A new experience in pure fright. Rated R.
You got me thinking a couple things. One, I see you cruising around town in your mind, trying to make sure every screen is projecting it properly. But I'm thinking of Cosmo and remote control driving around town. He only had to go to 3 video stores to get the tape.
Yeah.
See, so
I know that's what I need you guys for. When I write this shit, at first I used to say that critics, they go, well, what he's really talking about was the Vietnam War.
Right.
And I go,
right.
wait, whoa. I said, oh, and then I figured out, because they look at the date of the movie. Well, the Vietnam War was going on. So therefore, he must be writing in the context of the Vietnam War. That's right. So then I had this one guy in France said to me, yes, but you did the subliminal. Like you don't, like I can't say what's subliminal. I can't say what's subconscious. All I know is the last thing I was thinking of writing Blue Sunshine was the fucking Vietnam War. It was
Right.
about drugs in America. It was all about America, 100% America, social thing, 60s, not the war, but drugs.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
MK
it.
Ultra stuff, like you said at the beginning of the 4K, which I gotta say, Jeff, I showed my wife the 4K last night. We watched Blue Sunshine. I had seen it before. I love this movie, and she had to get up today at 4 a.m. to go to work. And last night she's laying in bed, and I'm like, babe, you can't fall asleep. She's like, no. The movie got me all riled up. So she couldn't sleep last night because of Blue Sunshine. And I was like, well, I'm going to tell Jeff that tomorrow. But she loved
I
it.
don't
She
know how to
loved it,
feel.
by the way.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. And so, but she didn't get up. She didn't get up and go incoming like helicopters, like
No.
Vietnam. No, no.
No, I mean that's the
No.
thing that you hit on in your book, which I, by the way, everybody, Day of the Living Me is the name of Jeff's book, and I'll put a link in our show notes so y'all can go out and order this physical copy because we believe in physical copies versus something on a digital form. One, I love it. I love your book, first of all, but second, you touch on that in the book about how like you're just making a movie. You're not trying to make an ecological, statement with Squirm or a feminist statement and, Just Before Dawn, like, or, in remote control. Well, we'll get to all that in a moment, but I love that. Do you think that people sometimes like overthink the hell out of these things?
That was a rhetorical. They
Yeah,
do.
it is. It
And
is.
they go
Sorry.
in and they go in with a preconceived, no matter what you say.
Right.
Well, they can't be wrong. They can't say, "Well, you're the writer, you should know." No, then you don't need them, right? So they know more about you than you do. And there is one exception. I always forget his name. There's a British critic who
Okay.
was on to my fan early on. He's a very well-known guy. He did on a Squirm. Somebody put out a Squirm 4K and had him interviewed,
Okay.
and he knew me better than me.
Oh,
He it was the weirdest thing. I actually wrote to him and I said, "This is scary because like if you were a shrink, I never went to a shrink, but if I did, I'd meet you and I go, okay, check please, I'm out of here because that's he nails what's it, Kim Newman. Hey
okay. Yeah.
Kim, right? Kim
Yeah.
Newman. He was like, whoa, like everything. How he said, I never wanted to be famous. I never said that, but it's true. I never wanted to be, commercial. I never wanted all the things that you're supposed to have a dream. Never had a dream. I mean, I have dreams, but nothing about movies. And I never
Right.
had a goal. So all the things that you're supposed to have, I didn't have. And he said that so my work is completely honest because I was not thinking of, well, if this does well, then I could, go up to the ladder of. There was no ladder, no fame.
Right.
Um, the worst thing for me was if you go to a restaurant and somebody comes over for an autograph. The house sucks, but these people that want fame, the publicists will say, well, when they stop doing that, you're in trouble. Say, fuck
Right.
that. Who would want that? But
Right.
there are personality types that do. So it's really weird that I have any kind of notoriety, kind of in spite of myself. It was the last thing. Like whatever the last thing I was thinking, it's behind that. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's two steps behind it. It's not on my radar.
Well, you touch on that in the book as far as like casting choices for some of the movies you've made, and I won't spoil anything in the book, but you talk about potential quote unquote A-list stars being in some of your movies, and you went with other people, and I think that's what I love. You cast a young Kevin Dillon in Remote Control before he had really hit the scene, and while he's got notoriety because of his brother. I get that.
Right.
He has his own style of acting, his own like performance. He's not Matt Dillon when you see him on screen. We love him in The Blob.
My brother heard a radio show in Florida. He did the blog right after he did Remote Control.
Right, right.
Kevin.
Because yeah,
And so Kevin, he's wearing a black leather jacket. It's almost like the guy on the radio said, Well, they basically took Kevin Dillon and said, "Don't change your wardrobe. Just come over here, and you're the same guy. Only instead of going to," they said that. My brother showed me the radio show down in Florida because the guy was a big Kevin Dillon fan, and he says, "So Kevin, come over and." You're going to aliens? No, now the alien is a blobby thing. Okay,
Right.
Chief. Same. So if you watch the two movies, same guy. One's
Yeah.
called Cosmo and whatever the blob guy, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
he's got a big mullet in the Blob, and I actually prefer his hairstyle in Remote Control
Oh, he
because
did? Well,
yeah,
everything else. But the black leather jacket he might have
Yeah.
taken from the movie and used in that movie.
yeah, but your movie can't you made your movie before the Blob, obviously,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it, but your movie you made it in '86, right? But it didn't come out till '88. Is that
Right.
right?
It
Okay.
came out. Well, yeah, I made it 86 or 87.
Okay.
Something tells me, because when you say you make a movie, you start it and you finish it like 7, 8 months later. So there's a
Right.
bridge.
Right.
So it's hard to say. Like I know it's Squirm, we did November 75, but it came out the summer of 76. And
Okay.
that's really fast
Yeah.
turnaround. It's usually
Yeah, it
more
is.
than that. Yeah.
But Remote Control, and side note, Deborah Goodrich, I believe I might have mentioned this when we were corresponding offline. She had been on the show and we spoke about Remote Control very briefly. Deborah Goodrich obviously is a shining highlight to your film, which Corey and I both love. I think
Oh
Remote
yeah, it's a
Control is
great movie.
it's one of those movies that I'm like, this movie plays so well in 2025 because we are so thirsty for nostalgia, especially 80s nostalgia. And it's so relevant in the sense that we're consumed by media now, and
Yeah, you could almost
influence.
Yeah.
replace the VHS tape with a TikTok video and have a similar outcome.
It came from beyond the stars, the ultimate weapon of human destruction.
Mom, my TV.
The next videotape you watch could control your mind. It could possess your body. It could take your life. Remote Control.
Why did they pick home videos to destroy mankind?
Cassettes don't destroy. People destroy.
It's more than a movie. Remote Control.
You've been wondering how the movie ended, haven't you, Cosmo? You set me up!
Remote Control. What you view can kill you.
What I did, if you look at the, Blue Sunshine, there's nothing new for me, but I'm satirizing my own time while I'm living my time.
Right.
Like Blue Sunshine wasn't about the 60s. It was about people my age that were so-called, children of the 60s,
Yeah.
making this weird transition to their parents' generation. That's what the movie was. And the same thing here. It's that when I was doing this, I was making like kind of a statement of that time, 1986 or 7, that I was saying, holy shit, there's something going on here. And they are calling it the video revolution, not me.
Right.
The home video invasion.
Yeah.
I took the word invasion. I go, oh, right up my alley. That's a sci-fi 50s, always getting invaded by some unknown force, the blob. And so these things are invading us. Well, how
Right.
could the things itself? I can't have video cassettes running around people's houses and choking them. Actually, you could with a tape, strangle.
Yeah. It can't be a
like,
beta.
it would be like remote control meets Gremlins.
Yeah.
Tapes I got to call Joe Dante.
Yeah, get on it. Let's get on it. Come on. I'll call him up right now.
And so it was a natural thing to me to say, well, here's something that didn't exist ever in people's houses. Like the television was the last thing that was new, and then the radio probably before that.
Right.
There's this thing that you buy, and it can play movies in your very own home, just like the dialogue I have. And so you go into a store and you're renting a thing that you really don't have any idea how it works. All you know is, holy shit, You never could play movie. You had to wait for the 8 o'clock movie, the 12 o'clock movie, the TV guy. Anytime I want, I could watch this thing. It was mind blowing. I mean, I was there, I saw it, and I was thinking, well, that all sounds good. What could be bad? It's
Right.
an invasion. Invasions are not good. And then, boom, got the idea, and it was a very trippy thing to have a movie within a movie, to have the old movie
Yeah.
have the same um, thing. And I've said, okay, you're already going over like 90% of the audience's head, and that's not good for money.
Right.
That's not a commercial thing to do. It's like, I'm not trying to be smarter. I'd rather have an accessible Freddy Krueger. I don't want to do Freddy Krueger, but I'm just saying that everybody has nightmares, and there's a guy, he's real, boom,
Right.
this is a heady, you have to think a little. As a matter of fact, when we got the production going to get insurance, the insurance company didn't want to bond the movie. It's my fourth movie. Like, what's the problem? Oh, no, 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 you're great. We think it's going to take you twice as long to shoot as you have in the budget. What? Because he said, you're shooting two movies, the black and white movie. I go, no, no, no. I had to literally explain what you see in the script is the only things we're going to shoot. There is no black and white movie of
Right.
remote control of that. And boy, that went on for 2 hours because they had to sign off on a few $1 million.
But nowadays, that's such that's so common, right, Corey? Like nowadays,
Yeah, you could probably have like another movie just to have it and put it on the web or whatever. But actually, in remote control, one of my favorite things is the 1986 retro futuristic look of the 1950s that you guys came up with. And I'm always infinitely intrigued by the black and white movie in the movie of Remote Control.
Yeah, that part of it it's all conscious, but it also has to be calibrated. So you have to shoot the black and white stuff that, first, right?
Yeah.
In video, but you had to shoot it knowing what you're shooting is going to play off in color, Kevin Dillon, whatever, in the foreground, or Jennifer Tilly. It's all got to be shot in video. So what they're looking at makes sense screen direction wise. It's very technically tough to do because there's no wiggle room. You can't change it. You already have the black and white video.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when I say action, they're going to roll that video in real time. If you're going to see the videotape and the person in the same shot, then it has to work. She says, "Oh, I'm on candid camera." The video has to look like her hands are going up like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fun working with Jennifer Tilly.
Did you shoot the remote control scenes like relatively close to when, like, say, Jennifer Tilly's scene? Did you shoot like the black and white the day before so you guys could still have that muscle memory of what she did and everything?
No muscle memory. We had maybe 2 days. Yeah, 2 days that they fudged it and put it into the production schedule. Didn't put it in. It was like as pre-production.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So we did it as pre-production. So it wouldn't eat into the shooting schedule of the movie. But that's all we had. So we shot all of it at once before anything, before the actress came on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's such a great movie. It really is. It's so, and again, I said this earlier, it plays so well in 2025. I think, clearly I'm a huge, and Corey and I both, huge 80s nostalgia fans, and we both worked at video stores back in the day, so we can relate to those aspects.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He worked at a place called, well, you call it Big Wolf, right, Corey? But it's Big Wolf.
Big Wolf down in outside of DC. Yeah, it was not as elaborate or big as the one in Remote Control, though, as their place.
Well, the one in Remote Control, I was making another kind of a statement. At that time, all Hollywood was talking, this is the end of the movie theater. Nobody's going to go to, right? So, and sure enough, a lot of that's when the cycle of the very small, what we call repertory theaters today, they started closing because they couldn't compete with. It was only the multiplexes to show, it wasn't Spider-Man, but Superman. You're not going to VHS. Forget about it. They might as well be radio and television.
Right.
You're not. If you want to see Superman, you're not going to rent it. You're going to go into theaters. So that kept the thing open. But as an issue, we rented a big movie theater. That was shot. That video store was the lobby of a movie theater.
That's what I was going to. I was going to ask you that.
So when you see that marquee at the beginning, it looks like a movie theater. And then you go in, you see Kevin Dillon's a video store. So that was my heavy-handed kind of,
It's almost like you saying, like video killing the movie star, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was fortuitous in one way that, that worked, but also it still was a movie theater, a functioning movie theater. We rented it for like a week.
Wow.
So therefore, I was able to, it was shot at 35 millimeter. You have to look at dailies. Guess where we looked at dailies?
On the
theater. In the theater.
That's hilarious.
So I went, there was a curtain, and I'd go from I'd go cut, and they go, the something scene is ready, and I go cut, and I push this curtain, and I sit down in a theater chair, and they run my dailies just because they could.
Talk about being cost prohibitive.
I didn't, no, nobody thought of it until the day. Said, why do we have to go to Movie Lab to see dailies in the morning? We could just see it anytime we want.
That's brilliant.
At the theater, like, duh.
That's hilarious.
You know what else is great about that? If you're shooting in the video store and you see in the daily, because I did this once at least, a fuck up that I made or whatever, I could fix it. I could go on the other side and say, after the shot, put the camera over there, we're going to do it again. Right? Because it's so fresh. We're already here. We're already lit. And so that was an unexpected. So the recommendation out there, TV land or podcast land, is if you were to do a movie and it happens to take place in a video store of the 80s, shoot it in a movie theater. No, you don't. The whole thing is stupid because there's no 35 millimeters, no dailies anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they just watch them on their phones now, Yeah,
a daily is, like press your phone again, hit enter. That's a daily.
Yeah, right. Oh,
A daily was watching the develop, for all you don't know. Dailies, they call them dailies because you shoot, you don't see anything. Nothing, no video playback, nothing. You're looking through a finder and you hope you got what the camera operator says you got. The next day, you went to a theater and saw the footage every take, and that's when you find out if you got what you were hoping you got.
Yeah, whether something was overexposed or something. Yeah.
Yeah, people can't grasp that today because you're so used to what you see is what you get.
Right.
You're shooting the top cameras today. You're looking at a monitor. So if there's too much of a flare in the guy's head, you're not going to fight. You're going to fix it before you shoot it. And there's nothing rolled. They go, roll cameras. What's rolling? Nothing.
They're just powering.
Roll sound.
It's a button.
What you're doing you're doing a digital recording.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like what is a cell phone? Same thing.
Yeah.
But on a cell phone, you go, I'm doing a video. And then they go, yeah, okay, it's a video. How come you're calling it a movie? Because it's like an hour and a half long. Yeah, man, put down. It's micro budget. GoFundMe. You're taking the camera and you're doing, like, say the kids are in the backyard and they're on a swing.
Right.
Same camera that you shot your movie with. Right? No, that's home videos. What do you mean? You're doing it? No. Why, you don't tell your kids action? If you say action and the kids swing, it's a movie. And that's me watching this from the outside. I have no skin in the game. They don't make the movies for me to watch, and I don't expect them to even know who I am. So I'm like Billy Joel. I'm an innocent man. I'm just saying what I say.
I tell you what, I want Corey and I both want people to know more about remote control. Like you're saying that there's an audience in Italy that goes and sees Squirm, and it's people that were never born in 1976. I think the same can be said for remote control. And remote control, is it only available through your website right now?
The problem with remote control is it's only available on my website because I'm the one who kept it alive at all because nobody knows. I don't know who owns it.
Oh,
If I owned it, um, it would be on Sci-Fi Channel. I could sell it. I can't claim copyright if I don't have copyright. So what
yeah.
I figured is I'm going to put it out. The last big owner was Kuroko. Remember Kuroko? They
Yeah,
put
yeah.
out
Yeah.
Rambo
Yeah.
and the Terminator. That was a big company.
Yeah,
And when they
Total
went
Recall.
bankrupt, yeah, exactly. They had all these things that they've gobbled up with all the money they were making, and one of them was remote control
Oh,
among thousands of titles. Well, they went bankrupt. How do you track down who owns it? All
yeah,
I wanted to do is find out because I have the negative and I'm also synonymous with the movie. So let's make a deal.
right.
It hadn't been seen since VHS. There was no DVD
No.
Mm-mm.
ever. It was just VHS. I got this thing and I said, so this guy, Andrew Vanya, who was the head of Kuroko, the chairman, he was on Facebook. And I figured, okay, I'll take a shot, friend thing. And he says, oh, I remember the title. I told him what I wanted to do. I want to put it out. I'll spend my own money and make, at that time, 2K, like a Blu-ray.
Yeah, yeah.
And somebody will come out and say, you can't do that. We own the movie. I go, boom. It's like going fishing. I was willing
Right.
to spend like 10 grand. Okay. I couldn't find them, but they came to me by trying to sue me or whatever. That was my idea. And then we can make a deal, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't know. They're not doing anything with the title.
Yeah.
And I did that, put it out, my website. Initially, it sold like I had to do a second print, not a word from anybody. And I've had
Okay.
major video companies look for me. I'm still looking to find because I can't make. I agree with you that the film was, for good or bad, and for money wise, it's really bad to be way ahead of your time
Yeah.
because it satirizes that time.
Right.
That's what happened with Blue Sunshine.
Right.
People go, yeah, this nails the hypocrisy of the baby. They didn't say that when the movie because they were those they were them.
Right.
The same thing with this. That now it's stylized. I'd stylize it for a reason.
Right.
And they're, well, I've been to the mall and the kids don't dress like that. And hear the shit. It's like, come on.
They do
Oh,
now.
I didn't know that. And so now when they look back, because they look at the high school yearbooks, whatever, they go, "Whoa, she has the same hairdo or whatever."
Right.
It's stylization of that time,
Yes.
an exaggeration of the home video thing, obviously, and you don't think of nostalgia at the time. You have to look back to be nostalgic, and it's huge in that respect because people stop the movie and go, "Oh, Teen Wolf." They look at the
Yeah.
all the
different
the
posters.
films that are on. Yeah.
We were talking about that offline. It's so much fun to watch that movie just to look at all the different posters that are there and everything, and it's a lot of fun. But I mean that takes a special kind of creativity on your part to be able to satirize something in the moment versus looking back on it even by 5 years. I mean, you're literally in the moment here and you're in the moment in Blue Sunshine. What makes you like what makes you see things that way and like sort of like step back and be like, that's interesting.
You're putting that in you're exactly right on your observation, but here's the big thing. I don't do that on purpose. It's like a mental illness. No, I'm saying I see things.
I know it's in your book.
Everything. I see everything and satire it simultaneously. It's like one track. Maybe I have a one-track mind.
Yay!
But no, I'm telling you. So when I was doing that, I didn't say, okay, how do I go about if I'm going to do it, it's going to come out like that because the reason I'm doing it is inherently satire. Why am I making this movie with this script? So I don't have to like shot to shot or idea to idea say, how do I, once I'm in that groove, everything is going to be this one overall thing. And that's what I did with Blue Sunshine. Am I making any sense?
Were
Yeah,
you
you are.
aware of the MK Ultra connection? I mean, I feel like nowadays it's very open. We understand the MK Ultra thing,
No?
but were you aware at the time of that?
I had no clue,
You just hit the nail on the head.
but how I didn't mention an MK Ultra, but I had no. Um, I think I did know that the CIA experimented with LSD. Okay, but I wasn't putting that in the script. But the fact that I picked Stanford, I don't know. Did you know this? Did I put that in the thing that Stanford
Yeah,
University
you
in
did.
1967, when I said these people went to Stanford in 1967 and the
Yeah.
LSD was going around Blue Sunshine, the CIA was experimenting at that college at that time. How weird is that?
That's
And
wild.
Ken Kesey knew that he was taking it. He was at the college. And you know who else? The Unabomber, who
Yeah.
didn't know. That guy Kaczynski.
In the movie in Blue Sunshine, I love the fact that you never explain where Blue Sunshine came from. They just kind of got out there.
Well, it went around that school.
Yeah, you don't talk about who actually like produced it or created it, which also
Right.
makes this great. Like it just like it can just absorb the MK Ultra backstory if you want to, you know?
Right. And I was also, again, because I was writing what I knew and I knew about drugs. You have a drug dealer. When they start to tell you where it's made, how it was made, and what's in it, all you know for sure is that lips are moving.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll say any. First of all, they don't know, so they say, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to touch it." No, no, no. It comes from this guy that he's very. They have no fucking idea, and they don't even know what you're taking. They don't know. They don't want it to be something else, but I think I have that in the movie where Robert
Yeah.
Walden says he never
Yeah.
took it because he said he never knew what you were taking. That was the truth.
Yeah.
That was the problem I had. And if you ever read Keith Richards' book, Leave It to Keith, he had a big heroin problem, right?
Right.
But to him, it wasn't a problem because he said all his friends that died of heroin overdose, they would die of an overdose. He said, heroin, the proper amount of heroin, you'll die of something else. You can live your whole life, but that takes a lot of money. What he did was every place he went on tour, you could read this in the book.
Yeah.
He wants to know exactly how much he's shooting up, right? How do you do that? You can't just get a dealer and say, I want the Keith Richards special. He had his own guy, a chemist, that started with pure heroin and stepped it down to Keith Singh.
Wow.
Everywhere he went.
My God.
I'm going, this fucker, he was my idol before I saw that. It's like, that is genius. If you have the money, and that's what he did.
Wow.
But you don't know. You go, one time I said, I don't want to take acid again. I did take acid. And I say, but I would like to try mescaline, right? Because mescaline's like organic. You hear all the shit. And it's like, all right. Nothing could be more intense than acid. So I'll take mescaline, I'll be mellow. Somebody gives at Syracuse University. As soon as it kicked in, this is fucking acid. I knew, he said it was acid because you can get acid anyway, you make it. And that freaked me out because you should go in, I'm taking LSD.
Right.
Not, guess what, and it really freaked the shit out of me.
Wow. But you didn't pull your wig off and suddenly run around.
I didn't pull my wig off, but here's what I did do. It happened to kick in an amphitheater.
Oh no.
And the amphitheater, the show was Death Row. And this is a guy who was either a priest or somebody went down to the wire where they were supposed to like get the last rites and then die. And at the last minute, maybe he got a reprieve from the governor or something.
Okay.
Right. And so he's going on a tour. So he's telling a story about when the priest comes in and all of that. And this is when the shit kicked in.
Oh no.
And all of a sudden, and you couldn't hear a pin drop. It's like, how many students? It was 1970 this happened. Right. And this is when Kent State, the reason I was there, me and this other guy, children of the 60s. We went up and we dropped Black Beauties to drive all the way up to Syracuse.
Okay.
And then when we were there, the Vietnam War is still going on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they had the Kent State. So they had
The shooting there.
it was called They Shoot Students, Don't They? That was the name of the big event, the bonfire, and they tied it into the Kent State thing and the movie They Shoot
Horses, yeah.
Horses, yeah. So I go, that's, we didn't need much reason to go somewhere and get high.
Right.
So that was enough reason to get in the car, and we went up there. And my friend was in one of the dorms. He happened to be he was in a jock, because we figured we'll crash with him. We had no money. He was in a jock dorm because he was like a wrestler. Larry Zonka, those guys, it was Syracuse
football. Yeah.
And Larry Zonka was one of them, and it was their fraternity. And we had the long hair, the bit, and we're doing drugs. We did not belong. And when this shit kicked in, the girl in front of me, her head became like Dumbo, like expanded into this. And I went, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. Everybody's listening to this guy.
Right.
And I'm in the middle. At least if I was on the end of the row. I was I had to do, pardon me, excuse me, and like the guy stopped talking.
Oh no.
Hey, come on, sit down, And all I knew is I gotta get out. And then I get onto the stairs. This is a good anti-drug commercial. I get on the stairs to go up to the exit, and it was, in my mind, it was an escalator where I was going up the down escalator. So all I'm doing is like, I'm not getting anywhere,
Wow.
and so finally, I went out to the quad, and I'm running. And then I pictured my brain and my skull, and I said, you can run. What are you running from? This is coming along with you. It's not, you can't
cannot run it.
You're out of here, and your brain the stone thing is over there. I'm over there. No, it's coming with you. And as soon as I visualize that, I slow down. That's reality.
Yeah.
Right. You're running away from reality. This is reality. And it calmed me down. I sat down. It was the greatest fucking trip after that. It was unbelievable. I literally, I know how crazy people, when they say stuff, I don't say it happened. I talked to trees. And not only that, they talked to me. Now, I'm looking at the trees. Did you ever see the Never Ending Story that I wrote?
Yeah, the third one. Yeah.
This was before, way before any Never Ending Story thing.
Falcor's back! I'm gonna have to go to the human world. They're gonna need my help.
Dada, me come too.
Okay, son, let's help the humans.
The Never-Ending Story 3, an all-new adventure as the creatures of Fantasia come to our world.
The Nasties must have the Never-Ending Story.
Maybe we could make a few things happen to him.
What is this? This is crazy.
The Henson creatures get the world in an uproar.
Yo, Empress!
Check it out, Wilma. I'm the new keeper of the book.
This is my story, and I'm not gonna let it happen.
Jason James Richter's A Fabulous New Adventure, The Never-Ending Story 3. Coming soon to theaters everywhere.
I saw like a knothole was the mouth, and and the big, and this giant, he was like the king, and they introduced me. And so I said, guys, I'm talking. I said, hold it right there. I want to get my friend, right? Because I went there with this other guy. I go out there. You ever see these rockets that you pump up with the water?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was doing that with two strange kids. I mean, you do that today, you can go right to jail. He's sitting there shooting off, and their parents weren't there. And I pulled them away from that. I said, you got to meet my friends in the woods. Probably saved his life.
Wow.
And I introduced him to the trees, and immediately he saw what I saw, his power of suggestion.
Right.
We had this whole, I wish I had a video of it, I could show it at mental institutions, the thin line. And it was great. So when I was writing the Never Ending Story, I tapped into that.
Of course you did.
That same thing. That's why, I don't know, say, where do I get my ideas from? Well, you never know when something's going to happen, and then I just do it my way and whatever.
I was going to ask you if you offered the tree some of your Oreos, because that's a hilarious part in your book, by the way. When you're talking about being at Woodstock, and like, good thing you weren't at Woodstock tripping on that.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Orioles, what I should have done. You see, when we were there, it was like nobody thought. You didn't think, oh, this is going to be an event. They're going to talk like Squirm. You know,
Yeah.
It's muddy, and it basically sucked. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like the sound. You know, we were all the way up because we didn't want to be where, you know, just sitting there, and we had the tents. So we're all up, and there was a thing called be-ins at that time. It started in San Francisco. What is a be-in? You just go. Somebody says there's a be-in at 8 o'clock at the big lawn or something. If enough people go there, it becomes an art. It becomes an event. It becomes a happening.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the first be-in that I went to was in Central Park in the Sheep Meadow, and there was over 100,000 people.
Holy crap!
Because when I was at the School of Visual Arts, somebody says, "Hey man, there's a be-in in Central Park on Sunday, man. It's 1 o'clock. Be there." I go, "Be where? What?" So then what? Like, who's playing? No, that's the idea. Just be there. And enough people were there. It was on all the news stations. They try to explain because there's no event.
Right.
That's the event.
Yeah.
It's like an Andy Warhol concept.
Totally.
And so I was used to that. So the fact that it was like a be-in with music stars, it wasn't that, to me, I only went because my girlfriend wanted to go.
I mean, that's what most dudes would do it anyways, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
And then if I was not if I didn't have a girlfriend, I probably would have gone with some guy because there's going to be girls all over the place jumping in the lake naked. I mean, come on, that accounts for every single guy that went there. That's why they went.
Right.
Do the math.
Right. And I don't want to reveal what happens in the book because what kind of gets you there, the other motivation with your buddy and his scheme, yacht scheme. I don't want to give that away because I think everyone should read this. By the way, it's a really short book. It's like less than 200 pages. This is so well written. It's so easy to read. I blazed through this thing in like a day or less. And
good toilet reading.
It is perfect toilet reading. It got me off my phone.
Two chapters per flush.
Yeah, pretty much. No, like it got me off my phone. And for someone who, for better or worse, it's a product of the environment we live in now, especially Corey and I being podcasters and in social media and blah, blah, blah. Being able to step away from your phone and read a physical book, it's like, it was a powerful thing. And I'm like, this is damn entertaining.
You can get it on Amazon, no
right?
Problem. But I can't sign it. The only way I could sign it, that's another reason I have the website. If you buy it from me, I buy them, author's copies, only because if they buy it from me, I could personalize it. If it's Amazon, I never see it. They print it and it goes out. And the only way I could ever sign it is if they come to some show, and I'm signing autograph. So it makes sense if you care about me signing it. If you don't give a shit, then get it on Amazon.
I'm going to order remote control right after we get offline on this conversation. I swear, because I don't want anybody. I want to get it now and have you personalize.
Oh, that's the other thing. That if you buy remote control, now I changed it, either off eBay or my website, I sign it.
Okay.
But I think it's cheaper on my website than eBay.
I'm not going on eBay, but I want you to personalize it to me.
No, but if you go on my website, you can get the book and you can get the remote control. That's the only reason I have the website, and then I could sign them both.
I think it's beautiful that you're doing that. I have to ask you this question.
Wait, you didn't put up the. You know how they do it in like the 800 number? You didn't put up the website.
Oh, I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. We'll have it. Yeah. And we'll have the links to your website and everything in all the show notes and everything like that.
All going to be there. It's all going to be there. My hair is getting really big right now. And I'm looking at Zalman King and Blue Sunshine. And I'm like, that guy has a freaking head of hair that Michael Douglas would dream about back in the 1970s.
Doesn't he look like Sean Penn?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like
My
Sean
wife
Penn and
said
Michael
that
Douglas.
last night. My wife
The younger,
said that last
the
night.
younger Sean,
Yes.
the younger
Yes.
Sean
Yeah,
Penn.
yeah.
Like Bad Boys,
Yeah, when
Bad
he
Boys
had
Sean
the
Penn.
hair. Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever hear the words blue sunshine back in school? I remember. Blue sunshine.
Did you ever hear the words blue sunshine? Try to remember. Your life may depend on it. Blue Sunshine, rated R.
What a trip, Zalman King. Like, I didn't know who Zalman King was other than Red Shoe Diaries and when I saw Blue Sunshine.
Yeah, that was after, yeah.
And Wild
As a
Orchid.
matter of fact, when I saw Zalman, when he did that, I dropped by. He had his own studio. He's knocking these things out.
Yeah.
And I go down and he says, "You should direct one of these things." I go, yeah, okay. Yeah. And he says, so then I came down. He says, "I got one for you to direct." And he starts to walk. We're walking in the sets. He had all the sets for like the next ones, and all in one warehouse. And he says to me, well, the basic thing is whatever. He gave me like the plot line of the Red Shoe story.
Yes.
Like a half hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
And right then, before we ever got to the sets, I made a remark like how I would do it, which would be for comedy, satire. And he turns around and goes, "I guess you won't be directing."
Oh.
Like I talked my way out of it. I
Oh.
can't do that.
No.
I mean, how could I do that? I was like,
I'm glad you didn't do that. I'm glad you didn't.
no,
do
but
that.
how could I do it from his point of view? You'd have to be nuts to have me do it.
Right. Right.
I can't do that on face value, like, no, breathe harder, stop breathing, turn red.
I mean, you could have maybe had David Duchovny in a scene, but whatever, who cares at this point? So
Do you know, by the way, it's not like I don't have a background in porn, because I do.
no, I know. I read it in the it's hilarious. And you go into
Well, but
Joe.
did I put this in the book? I know I put about Joe and the Inga and the Swedish movies.
Yeah.
That was my first introduction. They weren't porn, they was softcore.
Softcore,
Here's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
When I was doing, I think it was Blue Sunshine, but it was in Movie Lab on Broadway. Magno Sound, where everybody, Brian De Palma, everybody in New York,
oh wow,
did their post-production and mixing in that building. And they used Magno Sound. But there was somebody in the booth doing an outright porn film. They were doing the ADR. That's audio, the post-production where you're dubbing. It's dubbing.
Corey's face.
So they're doing it, and they're dubbing in the worst dialogue, like, "Oh, let's see the kitchen," and they go in the kitchen, throws her over. So then it gets to the fucking scene. I said to the guy, "Look, I know it's 15 minutes we're coming, we're doing our show. Could I go in the booth and do the fucking sound effects?" And he goes, "Sure, if you could do it." I go, "Oh man." I go in and wait, here's my mic. I go, and I try to sync it. Like, sync it. And I nailed it. I go, "I can go again, No,
I can go again.
But I didn't get the name of the freaking movie, because I would have loved to see my work, go to 42nd Street. Yep, that was me. And so somewhere out there, you could probably rent it or buy a tape that there is a scene, but I can't tell you anything more than that.
I guess you're telling everybody to go out and watch a bunch of dirty movies, and if it sounds like
that's
Jeff.
him. You hear that? That's Jeff. That's not a real. That's
perfect.
I only made it 30 seconds in. What happens?
That's perfect.
Sorry.
That's actually a perfect way to kind of wrap up our conversation.
Perfect ending.
Here's a question I had for you first.
Yeah, please.
$2
late fee.
Late fee would be what? Have you guys figured out in the currency? Like, no, really, the calculator?
No. I mean, I'm saying it's probably about $10 nowadays.
Yeah, probably.
No, wait. Let me do it.
Yeah, please do.
That'll be distinctly. That'll be your.
So it's $2 late fee and podcasting after dark, because we're going to combine the two. It's a crossover.
Yeah, but I just want to. I want to find this. So it'd be
Got an app for that?
Inflation
oh, I'm
calculator.
looking up. No, I don't. Yeah, it's inflation calculator. Yeah.
I love inflation calculators.
Corey's
They're
like,
fun.
I'm looking up your movie that you did the ADR for. This is going to play really well on audio and video while we're both looking at our phone. The two of you are looking at your phones. So
Right, inflation calculator. No, I don't want to buy one, you schmuck. I want to.
Corey will be on it before you.
I'm almost there.
That's what she said.
Inflation
calculator.
So if I go from 1988 to 2025 for $2, it's $5.45.
Oh, okay.
It's a calculation of 172%. $5.45.
Right. Okay, and that's the fee, late fee.
$5.45.
$5.45. That's fair.
And so what was the rental?
The rental was usually, well, it was $2 Tuesdays, so it would be it was $2.50, and that would be $2.71 with tax.
So the rental was $2.71?
Yeah, that's including tax.
Okay, so then what does that come out to?
Oh,
$2.71 and
$2.71. I still have it. Then that would be 2.71. That would be $7.39.
Okay.
You gotta keep all this in the video version.
I'm keeping it all in
doing
for
math with Jeff Lieberman.
So the thing is that if you rent it and you're 1 day late, you're looking at 13, almost $14.
Yeah, it's
of today's money.
Yeah, about $14. Yep.
You could buy a movie.
Why did we think it was cheap?
Why?
You know what I mean?
Because we were morons.
I mean, inflation thing. I always have to explain to you. You don't understand. It's the same buying power.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's
the same Hershey
weight.
bar. Yeah, and so that's pretty much not so cheap to go. I mean, try to rent if you're going to rent. Well, wait a second. This could be all figured out when you stream on Amazon. They say streaming fee. What do they get? Pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, they get a percentage of it. Yeah,
right,
probably 10%.
No, how much money? It's like $7.
Well, the movies are like $3.99 or something like that. If you want to stream a movie,
how much?
It's about $3.99, $4.
Even the big movies when they first come out on.
Yeah.
To own, I'm talking about just the stream.
Yeah, if they're new, if they just came out, they're like $25. If they've been out for like a while, it'll be like $3.
Yeah, just to stream costs about $25.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they're actually way more than the rental today, even with inflation.
Oh yeah, it's basically, I justify it because we watched a movie the other night, a couple months ago with my son and my wife, and we're like, well, if we went to the movies, it would have cost us $12-15 for the tickets, and this movie is costing us $25. It's essentially, whatever. Yeah.
And you can pause it and pee.
Well, so.
Yeah.
So you got a deal back then. I take it back. You got a real good deal.
Got a real
but
deal.
There was no reference. I mean, I remember that you had certain titles. It was $100 if you lost it.
Oh yeah.
If you lost a videotape. That was like really serious shit.
Yeah, I remember my stepdad bought Heavy Metal on VHS when it first came out, and it was like $100 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because people would buy them and just thought nothing of it until they and also the 4:3 and the resolution 450 dots. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that, they would have settled for anything because the movie's shot in 35 millimeter, which is like 8K, in digital terms.
Yeah.
And it's colored and it's in 16:9 format for the theaters. You're going to everything you could do to fuck it up, to put it on a video, and it was still okay. Oh, it's still a movie.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I couldn't watch, just before dawn. You watch is like all you saw was like teeth.
Yeah.
At night, it was like the worst, and seen in a square box. But that's how people got introduced to all these movies. You know?
I mean, they were. I mean, think about it. Like I said, he paid $100 for Heavy Metal in 1980, whatever, when it came out on VHS. I have it on 4K, and I paid $25 for it, and I'm getting a resolution that is insane. You know?
Yeah. No, as a matter of fact, in the low budget movies, the ones I did, the 4K is in some instances, not the whole movie, but there are sections that are way better than the original theatrical color corrected print. Like in Blue Sunshine, when Zalman King comes to that shopping center.
Yeah.
The shopping center was 12 o'clock noon. No, not a cloud in the sky. It's the worst time you could shoot anything. Because like the best time would be a total overcast, right? So here, how are you going to deal with the contrast between his face and the background where the sun is? You can't. If you have the money in your studio, you tent the whole thing. It's almost like you could create a studio right there. That's money. We don't have that kind of money. So you pump light on his face the best you can to balance with the background. But I knew in the DP, he told me it's going to look like the atomic bomb went off in the background no matter what, because the important thing is to see Zalman's face. I had to live with it until we found the negative. How many, like 10 years ago? It was pristine. It was great. And while we're doing the Da Vinci thing, the color correction, I said, you know what? This scene always bugged me. I don't know if there's anything there. It's all white in the background. He makes this power window like this. And he goes, tell me when. And he goes, and all of a sudden there's a store.
Wow.
There's a lot of stores. And he brings back the background, but the power window says Zalman doesn't change.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, and he's doing that for no money in 1 minute. What a tent would have cost. And I went, wow, this is great. And I bet you everybody's doing that now.
You know, we're not getting any money, from Severin or whatever, but this 4K release of Blue Sunshine is unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gorgeous.
I didn't notice like anything like what you're talking about of the original. Like, it's not in this at all. This is like pristine and absolutely gorgeous. Looks like it was shot today.
Yeah, we left the grain. It's got that. It's everything about it is perfect. The soundtrack,
perfect.
I love that soundtrack, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you know that what was the name of that Robert Smith and
from The Cure?
Yeah, from The Cure. He and Susie and the Banshees guy, they did one album together, like outside of The Cure, and it was called Blue Sunshine.
Oh,
and I have the album cover. And it was because they dropped acid, and they wanted to do like a theme of horror, like strange cultish type stuff. And so all they did was go through titles. And Blue Sunshine, from what I know, I can't say they saw the movie or they didn't see the movie, because the only thing I've read, I don't know that, is that they said, oh, this is I thought it was a great name for a movie. I made it up. It's a great name for, and one of the cuts on the album is Blue Sunshine.
Oh, nice.
Cool. And I know. And the other thing about Blue Sunshine was, after I did it, the disco, again, I got a disco scene in there before the disco broke. It was before Saturday Night Fever.
Right.
And, but I knew it was coming. And so I worked that in. This is a radical difference from the 60s, right? And did I already say, I do a lot of podcasts and I said this stuff. I don't want to
It's okay. As long as it's with us, it's never been said before.
yeah, I guess so. So I do the movie and the disco thing. And I only did the disco thing for the reason I just said, is that to show the contrast. They didn't know what a disco was. So the place we shot, it was a country western bar with sawdust.
Yeah.
You know, when they had to clean it all up. I explained to the art director, he didn't know what I was talking about, the disco booth,
Yeah,
the
the booth. Yeah.
plexiglass,
Yeah.
and to get extras that owned a sport jacket and a tie, and the girls, none of them. We had to spend money we didn't have to
Wow.
buy them. All they had was jeans and tank tops. They were still, it was a cusp over the 60s was still the thing.
Yeah.
It was disco that totally changed everything. I had that in the movie, and 2 years later or something, after Saturday Night Fever, somebody says, you know, down at CBGB's, down on the Bowery, and that's where the punk was starting to happen.
Right.
They're playing your movie at CBGB's. That was like the hottest, the Mud Club, CBGB's.
Yeah.
I said, what? You're nuts. How could they? I know you can't play a movie. I go down there, and he said they do it every night. They had all these TV sets back then. There was no monitors like flat screen today. They were actual TV sets, and they used to show visuals like Andy Warhol art or whatever.
Yeah.
They showed the disco scene in Blue Sunshine on a loop over and over and over without any sound, because that's the only time I saw the Ramones. The Ramones were playing. I didn't know who they were. And there's the guy and freaking out and disco, and they're all doing the disco blue. And so I asked the guy sitting there, I said, what's up with this, you know, this thing with the television? And he says, this guy, Jeff Lieberman, he made a statement that disco sucks, man. Like I was their champion. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of not true. I didn't make any statement. I didn't make any. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Right at the beginning.
You have to find out. Like people will tell you what you did,
right?
But you don't. I wasn't doing that. I was trying to show the contrast between the two. If I wanted to be nasty to the guys, go, let me get this straight. I saw the movie, and he's not reacting and freaking out because it's disco. It's the loud music. It could have been fucking church music. It could have been Mozart.
It could have been country western.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, right. But I figured, don't go there. Just take it as, I'm genius. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Just pat yourself on the back and move on.
Take it as a genius, right?
I was the guy that made Disco Sucks. They attributed it to me, and they really did. I mean, it's so weird.
I have a card from when I was living in Detroit, from a radio station there called Riff, WRIF radio. And they did a Disco Sucks card, and they had a big, they had these events, right? For people that don't know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was this big backlash to disco, and they're blowing up records, right, in this baseball park.
Right.
And I believe they were doing it at Tiger Stadium in Detroit as well. And they gave out these cards. I still have it. It's a gold card, and it says Disco Sucks, honorary member of the Anti-Disco League or something like that. I'm like, I kind of like disco though. I like all music. Don't get me wrong.
Listen, the Bee Gees, it was so
Bee Gees are amazing.
I mean, they're amazing.
Amazing,
and
yeah.
To put them down, and the writing, I mean, it was great.
It's so great. Nights on Broadway is brilliant. That's my favorite Bee Gees song of all time, Nights on Broadway.
Yeah, just one last thing. That I'm cutting Blue Sunshine, right, in the editing room. And my agent, he's thinking again, okay, next, what am I going to do next? And they said, he says that there's somebody that wrote an article in New York Magazine called Saturday Night Forever. That was the article. And this young guy, 26 years old, optioned the story. And he got, I guess, Robert Stigwood to put up the money they can make a movie.
Yeah.
And starring John Travolta. I was the only one on the planet Earth that had on film a disco scene, because it didn't happen yet. It happened because of Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
So I'm like front running in something that I have no idea. Dance, get the nothing. And so I'm front row. So the guy gets on the phone with me. He's a well-known, he's the producer of it. And he says, he wants to see, like, my editor could cut the disco scenes really quick and show it to them. And the disco scenes, And so I said to him, okay, cool. And he says, and we already have the music to the movie. I said, wait, is this animation? And I said, how can you have the music? You gotta, and I'm giving him, you see, you do the movie and then you score it. You don't do the movie to an already existing music score.
Right.
And nobody ever did, right? And he canceled. He said, I don't think I could work with Jeff. Like, and I'm thinking, well, fuck him. He's gonna. So I'm thinking, fuck him. He's gonna make like the worst movie. If you're gonna do it with music, you're gonna play the music during the scenes and all. Then this guy I know, Stewie Adler, I think his name. He was I knew guys that worked on the crew of Saturday Night. And he says, I'm working on his movie, and the music. He says we're holding the light stands and going. I went, oh shit!
Oh, no.
He said it's the most contagious. Everybody on the crew was dancing during the movie. And I went, fuck! You blew another one.
Oh man! I was going to ask you about the music and remote control, like the incidental background songs.
Yeah, well, that was he used a theremin.
Okay.
You know what a theremin is? Yeah. I mean, he actually, Peter Bernstein, used the theremin. I mean, the theremin's weird because it has no strings. You put your hands.
Yeah, it's wild. So cool.
Yeah, and that's where, because that was what they used for the old, all the 60s, 50s sci-fi movies used theremins.
So great. So great.
Right. So then I said to Peter, okay, that becomes a motif for the real score of the movie we're watching with Kevin Dillon.
Right.
So you don't have two separate things, and they pretty skillfully pulled that off.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's what I think one of the things that works so well about remote control is that it's also a love letter to 50s sci-fi cinema as much as it is a satire of 80s VHS culture.
Right.
And I love your little nod you have on the TV screen. You can see Blue Sunshine playing at the video store.
Yeah. I know.
I love that. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Let's get a remote control screening out in LA.
I screened remote control at
the New Beverly? Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, love the New Beverly.
I don't remember. I know I did because it was sold out. It was like there was a Lakers game or something like that. Like, it was a really bad night, and it was only a day's notice, and boom, sold out.
Well,
but
yeah,
because it was 35. We have a 35 print.
Yeah.
The other, I screened.
You screened Blue Sunshine out here not that long ago.
I screened Blue Sunshine at the what do they call it? The Silent Movie Theater in Fairfax.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I screened that. The 4K. That was the first time with the 4K.
Okay.
But I also screened. You can find it on the internet. The Marquee, Squirm, and Just Before Dawn double bill at that theater. That was, everybody showed up for that, and that was really. Did you know Eric Caden?
Yeah, I have a funny story about Eric Caden. I have one of his Little Richard Bibles he used to give out on Grindhouse nights. So Eric Caden, that poster, that Streets of Fire poster I have behind me, I bought that from Eric
at
Hollywood Book and Poster Company. Yeah, rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame. I love that guy, but he was the host.
Oh, he was the host that night. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
It was really. All the, like Neil Marshall was there and Mick Garris.
Wow, cool.
And I told them, ask me the most asinine questions.
Of course. Did. Yeah. Oh, you asked them to tell. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. Next time you're out in LA, I'll have a stack of Oreos and we can have a fun conversation. The three of
I'll
us.
trade you. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the
Jeff,
show.
So much.
It was fun. You guys know your shit.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
for
buddy.
saying that.
When I'm bored, it sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, I've heard those podcasts.
And when I'm not bored, it's more entertaining. Like, can you imagine me writing that book and being bored with my own shit?
No.
John Landis loves that book, and so does Waters.
I can see why.
Good.
And you've got John Waters in there on the screen.
Yeah.
That's him.
I love it. Thank you, Jeff. Until the
Thank you
next
so
time.
much.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
We'll see
Have
you
a good
later,
one, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.